Hey guys, so I've done rounds 1 through 8, I think, of the fight. Rounds 9, 10, 11, and 12. Kind of a fight breaks out and it looks great, so I suggest, just rewatching them. But we're going to just go ahead and get into keys to victory for the fight for what I think Canelo needs to do in order to pull out a victory against Golovkin. Um, and while I think that he lost basically all of the boxing on a consistent level with Golovkin, oh excuse me, that he has a great opportunity um, to make some adjustments in this fight. Oh, excuse me, in this fight, and really make it his own. Um, I don't think that he can beat Golovkin in an outright boxing match. I think that Golovkin, he has too many extra tools. Um, he understands how to use his tools a little better than Canelo does. He's much more seasoned than he is. But Canelo does have an opportunity to win, and I think that in the second fight, I don't know how much better Golovkin is going to be in the second fight, but I think Canelo is going to be a lot better than he was in the first fight. After he lost the first few rounds, based on that timing, right, stepping on his lead foot and getting kind of cracked and like just not being able to kind of well, first off, if you guys haven't seen those videos, go check them out. The breakdowns of rounds 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, and 7 and 8, and how I kind of talk about those ideas, and I kind of talk about how the flow of the fight would change. Um, but Canelo wound up, kind of finding himself in a little bit of a hole because of that, because of the fact that he had to fight off that timing, and because Golovkin was able to capitalize on it every time he would step on his lead foot like this, boom, and try to shoot that jab, try to shoot those punches. Golovkin was able to counter his jab, take his jab away, and stop Canelo from being able to control the space between him and Golovkin. Um, Now, the first and most important thing for Canelo is going to be controlling the space between him and Golovkin. And what I mean by that is not allowing Golovkin to feint him, not allowing Golovkin to use his probes, use his feints, and make Canelo react to him to set up his punches. And I kind of want to play some clips right here that kind of talk about that. I'm going to put it in slow mo, not like super slow mo, but I just don't want it to go super fast. Um, but as you see, whoops. Canelo is having a hard time controlling the space between him and Golovkin, and Golovkin's kind of able to just come in, throw punches, set his punches up, shoot his jab here, right? Feint him, land his right hand, and a lot of people don't give Golovkin the credit for his speed. Like, look at how quick he is. Boom, free punch right there, right? Free right hand right there, right? And because Canelo can't control the space between him and Golovkin, he can't maintain the distance if he wants to. But he also, more importantly, he can't stop Golovkin from entering that range and throwing punches, setting up his punches, and just landing punches even when they're not set up. And what winds up happening is Canelo winds up in a lot of situations where he's using punches to control the space and try to discourage Golovkin from landing punches, but Golovkin is able to counter him because he's able to use his superior tactics to feint and probe. And what he does here in this scene, he shoots this jab, but this is not a real jab. He's just probing, as you can see this last third jab that he uses, right? Jab, jab, and that last one, he just kind of touches it out there, and he notices that and what he's doing is he's baiting that shot from Canelo, and he's able to slip that hook, make it kind of land on the back of his head, and land this big right hand right there. And that's because Canelo is having such a hard time controlling Golovkin. He's having such a hard time keeping Golovkin off of him. And there were a lot of scenes in the fight where that was happening, where Golovkin could just walk forward and Canelo wasn't throwing punches. He wasn't able to use his jab, which is his main tactic for controlling the space, because Golovkin was able to take it away earlier in the fight with tactics like this, right? Notice in the first clip, as soon as Canelo's left hand leaves his head, Golovkin throws a right hand. In this scene, as soon as Canelo throws his jab out there, Golovkin shoots a right hand over the top of it. And all of that serves to discourage Canelo from controlling the space the only way he knows how, with his jab, and we wind up with a lot of scenes like this where Golovkin is able to come in, throw this fake left hook to the body, and get Canelo to block it so he can go over the top with the right hand right there, and then just continue feinting him. And then again, as soon as Canelo uses his jab to control the space, what does Golovkin do? He throws a right hand. He misses there, but that's not the point. The point is that it discourages Canelo not only from using his jab, but it also discourages Canelo from using his jab to set up other punches. Because if he throws that jab and then he goes to cross into a right hand, he might wind up walking into the right hand that he knows Golovkin is looking to throw. And again, exactly what happens when Canelo has no control over the space between him and his opponent. He enters the round and he has to begin retreating, and he doesn't know how to keep Golovkin off of him, and Golovkin's able to feint him. And what happens in this scene is he steps forward hard, Canelo thinks he's going to throw a jab, and Golovkin throws a wide right hand, boom, and lands it right solid on the chin. Because Canelo has a very difficult time controlling the space between him and Golovkin, because the only way that he knows how to do it is with his jab, as we'll see in these next few clips. Boom, shooting the jab, right? And then when he shoots the jab, Golovkin's throwing the right hand. He started that off right in the first round, right? Again, Canelo using the jab right there to control the space and jabbing with Golovkin. Coming out, using the jab. Again, as soon as Golovkin starts shooting his jab, Canelo starts countering him with his own jab, but Golovkin starts countering over the top, making Canelo think, making Canelo wary of the counters coming over the top. Now what I want to talk about are the strategies that Canelo needs to employ to maintain control over the space between him and Golovkin, and how he needs to do it. So in this next scene, we've got Canelo retreating to the ropes. This is the same round where Golovkin just walks up to him like this, feints him, and then throws that wide right hand. But in this scene, Canelo does something a little different. He fakes him, right? He gives him a feint. Wow. And he fakes the left hook. And then he's able to throw this jab and control Golovkin, right? Now, what I mean, for those of you that have never watched my channel, control, anytime that you get your opponent to do something that you want them to do or they don't want to do, you're controlling them. If I feint my opponent, right, or if I throw a jab at them, right, and they catch the jab, you can consider that a type of control. You made them do that, right? Now you feint them and they go to catch it, right? You made them do that. You feint them with the right hand and they slip off the line. You made them do that. And that's kind of controlling your opponent. And what you want to do when you're setting your punches up, well, yeah, I'll just give you a little taste of that. In this scene right here, we have Golovkin coming forward, and he's going to control Canelo. He's going to throw the left hook to the body, right? Makes Canelo block the left hook to the body, and what that does for him is that opens up the right hand. Because if he were to just throw the right hand, there's a good chance that Canelo would have been able to slip it, counter it, or do something. But he sets that right hand up by throwing the left hook to the body first, and then going over top with the right hand. And in that way, he's controlling Canelo and basically telling Canelo what to do. And what Canelo needs to do is he needs to turn that around on Golovkin and do that to him, and use that to control the space between him and Canelo, or him and Golovkin, so that Golovkin doesn't have the opportunity to just come in, start feinting, pop, pop, get him out of position so that he can land his own punches, right? And again, slipping this way, and Golovkin thinks it's going to be a punch, ducking this way, right? And look at how when he ducks that way, Golovkin shells up, then he slips this way, and he's able to get off the ropes simply by using feints, not by opening up with his jab and getting countered over the top with the right hand, but he finds other ways to do that. And he just didn't do it enough against Canelo, or against Golovkin. As we see here, Golovkin is ready for the right hand in this case. He's already setting up his counter, his own shoulder roll, but what happens, Canelo shoots the jab and then fakes him, right? And that creates space for Canelo to run the clock, right? To stop Golovkin from having as much time to deliver attacks against him during the course of the round. And we'll talk a little bit about that at the end of the video when we get to when we kind of complete the game plan for Canelo and his opportunity to beat Golovkin. And then again here, shooting the jab, and then now he's going to feint him, gets his hands up, then he feints him, gives him another feint, and look at how he's able to keep Golovkin guessing and make Golovkin think, and then back Golovkin up simply by giving him different looks, right? So when Canelo's in this position, Golovkin knows that only the jab is coming. But when he slips this way, that might be him slipping and throwing a right hand at the same time. So Golovkin has to respect it. He has to say, hey, what is he doing here? Let's figure it out. Oh, he ducked here. Oh, he's throwing the uppercut. Oh, he's throwing the left hook. And that allows Canelo to create space and then throw punches like that when Golovkin is thinking about what he's trying to set up. And again, feinting, right? Look at how effective these head movements are and how he's able to stop Golovkin from mounting an offense against him simply by feinting him and controlling Golovkin and keeping him from just running into him and throwing punches. And then again, feinting him low, making him think that the uppercut is coming, and then shooting a jab while he pops up. Notice all the other jabs that he threw. When he would just throw the jab, Golovkin would always throw the right hand over the top. He's expecting it. He's timing him. He's looking to counter that jab because that's the only way that Canelo knows how to control the space between him and Golovkin. But in this instance, something he did very rarely, he feints him low and then goes up with the jab and then moves off the line. And what he's able to do here, if you look at it, Golovkin's hunting him, right? 31 seconds on the clock. He's able to slip, boom, shoot that jab, and then move off the line and kill, 3 seconds on the clock. You do that 10 times in a round, and you've just bought yourself 30 seconds of Golovkin not being able to punch you in the face, which is very valuable. If you were able to do that a few more times in the first fight, he very likely would have been able to pull out a victory. The next thing I want to talk about are setting traps. Then that's going to be the second most important thing, is taking advantage of Golovkin's patterns, because Golovkin is a very, very, very cerebral, smart fighter. He's very pattern-based. He picks up on patterns well. He creates patterns so that he can break them. He's a very smart fighter, but what you want to do is catch him early in his patterns. And as we see here, he's shooting the right hand, and we have Canelo shooting the jab. And one of the patterns that Golovkin had during the course of this fight is catching the jab or slipping the jab and throwing the right hand. But every single time Canelo throws a jab, Golovkin wanted to make sure that he was countering it over the top to knock Canelo out and to stop Canelo from being able to control the space with the jab so that he'd be able to get him on the ropes basically for free. So what we have here is Canelo shooting the jab, and he's going to slip off the line when he throws it so he can land that right hand to the body and then this left hook. He doesn't land the left hook, but the fact that he's shooting this shot, moving off the line away from the right hand that he knows is coming, means that he's thinking. And he's going to need to do this all night long, is have a game plan for that right hand that he knows is coming over the top and set traps for it. And that's going to be a very significant source of his offense if he can couple that with controlling the space, right? Now, we talked about that. And another thing that does, because the way that Canelo controls the space, he understands that when he controls it like this, counters are coming back at him. He's able to use that as to his advantage to land these punches. When he's fighting Golovkin in the rematch, when he starts slipping, moving off the line, rolling and doing this, he's going to be able to get Golovkin to commit to offense because he's going to be trying to pin Canelo down. And every time that Canelo slips or does this or gives him a feint or does something, Golovkin is going to react. And those reactions, Canelo is going to be able to use those reactions to set up further offense as well. And that's going to be, again, something that's very, very important for him. Again, the most important thing for him to do is to control the space between him and Golovkin, so that Golovkin can't just do whatever he wants, walk him down, feint him out of position, and land his big shots. Now, this is a really interesting scene, again, setting traps, right? So Golovkin shoots the jab, the second jab comes, and then he ducks it, and then he moves off the line and moves off, right, when Golovkin throws his right hand. In this next scene, we have Golovkin, again, because Canelo has a very hard time controlling the space between him and his opponent, Even when he's using his jab, even when he's landing his jab, he has a hard time keeping Golovkin off of him. And Golovkin's able to come in, land the jab, feint him, throw the right hand on the outside, and then come in, feint him again, shoot this jab. Now the same pattern, he ducks what he thinks is going to be the next jab, right? And Golovkin is baiting him. Golovkin remembers this pattern from just a few moments ago, but instead of coming up and moving away from the right hand, because not only is Golovkin not throwing it right now, because Golovkin is actually setting up his own trap, he's baiting Canelo into ducking that way, but Canelo actually sets a trap for Golovkin, and boom, comes up with the uppercut instead. So let's just go ahead and watch those two sequences again, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So the jab comes, the second one comes, and then he moves off the line away from the right hand, and then in the next one, he baits Golovkin into doing the same tactic, jab, ducks the second jab, but he comes up with an uppercut instead, setting a trap and landing a great shot. Obviously, he's not hurting Golovkin, but scoring that punch and then moving off the line is going to be very important for him. Now, we're going to play some scenes from the 12th round, and we're going to talk about the third key to victory for Canelo. And this one is probably, it's not the most important, but it's probably just as important as controlling the space between him and Canelo, or him and Golovkin. And again, he has to control the space. He has to be feinting Golovkin constantly. He has to be probing. He can't be just going out there and committing to a hard jab, right? Committing to a hard jab, committing to a right hand, committing to all these shots every time he does something, because Golovkin is going to counter him just like he did in the first fight. But the next key to victory, on top of those, setting traps and controlling the space, is going to be to fight in spurts. Now, I'm going to play the first minute of the 12th round. I'm going to pause intermittently just so that I don't play too much of the clip. But look at how he comes forward. He shoots this jab. He knows that Golovkin is going to try to counter the right with his right, so he moves off the line and throws the hook. Golovkin doesn't actually counter with the right there, which is surprising, but it is another instance of Canelo setting a trap for him, knowing that the right hand is coming after landing a left hook. But he's going to throw a lot of punches during the course of this first minute and land a lot of punches against Golovkin, coming with the hook, jabbing him, boom, going to the body, landing that uppercut, countering him, landing a great uppercut right there, grabbing, holding a little bit, controlling Golovkin. Again, anything you want your opponent to do that they don't want to do, that's control. And there's not going to be a lot of holding. There's not going to be a lot of that stuff. Maybe there will be in the second fight. Who knows? Maybe it'll be a stinker. Maybe Canelo will think, oh man, I just don't want to take those punches, bruh. But again, using his jab, moving off the line, countering Golovkin again, staying on the line. I would not recommend that. I definitely think he needs to do that too, but it's not one of the keys to victory, in my opinion. Like, it'll go a long way, but there are other things that are more important. But again, coming in, landing a great left hook. And look at all the punches that he's landing during the course of this round. Boom, look at that. Gets away from Golovkin's right hand right here. Boom, boom, pieces him up, body, headshot. Doing a great job, lands a great combination right there. Lands like 3 out of those 6 punches. And then landing that right hand. Golovkin missing his hook. But then all of a sudden, Canelo gets tired. Now, he landed enough punches during the course of that round. He landed enough punches during the course of this first minute of the round to win the round already. He's landed a ton of punches, maybe 15 punches, 20 punches, I don't know how many. But that should be enough to win the round. But unfortunately, he does it all in the first minute of the round, and Golovkin's able to walk him down now. Oh, well, Golovkin gets, pieced up a little bit more. But now Golovkin's coming forward, putting the pressure on Canelo, and because Canelo doesn't know how to control the space, again, because Canelo doesn't know how to control the space with anything other than a punch, he lands that punch, eats a punch of his own, and then eats a right-hand counter as well to that jab, because he mostly uses his jab to control the space. He winds up putting himself into a position where he's slugging it out with Golovkin in the 12th round, and he spends basically the next 2 minutes of the round flurrying, occasionally throwing a few punches, but allowing Golovkin to just walk him down and throw his own punches. Um, tying him up a little bit. But because of the fact that he doesn't know how to control the space between him and his opponent, and he's not fighting in spurts. Why is this clip at the end? This is so weird. Boom. This one was supposed to be actually when we were talking about Canelo only knowing how to control the distance with his jab. So he shoots the jab in the fourth round, and Golovkin lands that counter right hand right on the chin, and that's when Canelo stopped using his jab as much. But like I was talking about in the 12th round, Canelo lands enough punches to win the round in the first minute of the round, and because he doesn't know how to control Golovkin, because he does it all at once, because he's not feinting Golovkin to keep Golovkin off of him, because he's not using his head movement, he doesn't have an active guard, he's just standing there with his hands up. Golovkin's able to find the target and make a comeback in the 12th round to arguably win the 12th round, in spite of the kind of beating that Canelo was kind of putting on him, and all the landed punches. Because, to be honest, it was a great effort from Canelo. He did a great job in the beginning of the 12th round. But once it kind of all passed, and Golovkin was able to close the distance and find Canelo, Golovkin was able to outland him, and really put a hurting on him as well, and kind of mitigate all the effectiveness that he had early in the round. Now, if only Canelo used more feints, right? Instead of throwing all these combinations right away, if he would fight in spurts, again, that's what the key to victory is fighting in spurts. Do a flurry, right? And then move to the ropes, right? Start feinting Golovkin, right? Make him work his way in, feint him, and then move off the line. Wait about 10 seconds. Keep feinting him, control him, give him different looks, then flurry again. Land a couple of those punches again, right? Continue to do that, move off the line, continue to do that, and space out his activities so that he doesn't burn himself out in the first minute of the round, and then allow Golovkin to dominate him for the remaining 2 minutes, and steal the round, and not steal it, but actually have Canelo give it away. But anyway. Yeah, those are the keys to victory. Controlling the space. That is going to be the most important part for him, so we don't wind up with a lot of scenes in the fight that are just like this, where Golovkin's coming forward. He's able to counter him. He's able to bait Canelo. And again, we were talking about making his opponent go first, right? Golovkin, again, using his jab here, jab, jab, and then he gives him a little probing jab, gets Canelo to commit to something, and then counters him with a big shot. And that was basically the story of the night, and why Golovkin was able to land so many more shots than Canelo, is because he was able to bait him, again, baiting him with the jab, sees the jab counter coming, slips, moves off the line, and lands a right hand. Again, getting Canelo to commit to something, commit to defense, committing to blocking the wrong punch and walking into a right hand, because of the fact that Canelo doesn't know how to control the space. So controlling the space is going to be his number one most important tool to winning the rematch, because his jab is not good enough. The second tool is going to be setting traps. He was very effective with his traps in the first fight. He showed that he was a very smart fighter, but he just needs to put it a little bit more together. And then I would suggest not fighting 3 minutes of every round. I think it's a bad idea. I think the more time that he spends actually boxing with Golovkin, the more the advantage moves into Golovkin's favor. He hits harder. He's just as fast as Canelo. I know people don't think so, but he is. He's not as sharp, flashy, but he's very quick. He hits very hard, and he's very smart. He picks up on patterns very well, and he's just not the kind of fighter you want to be standing in front of, allowing him to figure your defense out and allowing him to figure out how to land punches against you. And, again, you don't want him doing this stuff to you, walking you into shots, because he hits hard enough to really capitalize on his own traps. Anyway, Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. It actually just hit me today that this fight is this weekend. I didn't do a post fight for Sean Porter. To all you guys in my comments section that were saying Garcia was going to knock him out and Garcia's a better fighter. Gotcha. He wasn't a better fighter, was he? Oh shit. It's funny too because like the first few rounds. Well, I'll probably do a post fight video on that. I'm still interested in talking about it. But anyway, Canelo absolutely has to find a way to control Golovkin. He has to find a way to feint him. He has to find a way to control him. He has to find a way that's not using his jab, that's not a hard jab. If he probes it, if he just sticks it out there a little bit and gets Golovkin to commit to that counter right hand over the top, maybe he could slip it and come in with his own right hand, bah, right? Maybe he could get him to commit to that right hand and then slip and then throw his jab hard, you know. But he has to find a way to make Golovkin go first and create space, you know, so that he can fight in spurts and that he doesn't feel pressured all 3 minutes of all 12 rounds of each round, and you know, find a way to kind of run the clock basically with his feinting, his probing, and setting traps. And I think that he has a good chance to beat Golovkin if he can do those things. If he cannot control the space between Golovkin, though, if he cannot do that, he is going to lose the fight again. He's just going to lose. His jab wasn't good enough in the first fight, so he's really going to have to work on that. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you enjoy my content, you know, send me not a donation or follow me on Patreon. I'm not going to be able to do any rewards at the moment. My schedule's really, really busy, but, you know, just shoot me $1 a month or whatever, $2. Support me responsibly. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Twitter, even though I don't do anything with those things, but share my videos. You can share them on there or like them on there. And if you like my content and you can't afford to support me, you know, just share my videos with your friends. Share my videos with the boxing community. I don't really have time to kind of delve into that kind of stuff. Like I said, my schedule is really busy, but I love making these videos, so I keep them coming just for you guys. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks, guys.